look at how district leaders find out if solar can generate savings for their schools. The answer is that you need to understand your financing options and the impact of solar. So let's take a look at some finance options on a sample 1 megawatt SCE project. I'm going to briefly touch on these, and we're going to make some additional in-depth materials available after the webinar. And also, if you would like to call me directly, feel free to, and I'd be happy to walk you through them. The key takeaways to look at here is you're going to see two options that are written in blue. That's where the district buys the solar equipment. And you're going to see two options written in green. That's where an independent power producer buys the solar equipment, and then the district only buys the electricity that it produces under a long-term PPA, power purchase agreement contract. The key things to look at here are the incentive levels. Right? It's deceptive because in the state, school districts have higher state incentive levels. However, they miss out on the big federal incentives. And those federal incentives provide so much value that the total incentive package for a PPA provider is over twice that of a school district if they buy it outright. We think, as you look down this list, a blended bond PPA is the best of both worlds. I'd love to talk with you more about it. If you have questions, please follow up after the session. Next, let's say you have gone out. You've now started conversations with a solar developer like Photon Energy Services. And what should you expect from them? You should expect that they are going to provide you a detailed electricity use analysis, a detailed rate impact analysis, and a preliminary site study. Now, a company like ours is most likely going to ask you for access to your SCE online account. That's going to be a username and a password so we can get in and get the bills. If we don't, we have to have you get us 12 consecutive months of bills. It's a lot of information to crunch, but it is required if you want to provide any kind of accurate guess as to, or accurate estimate as to whether or not if solar can save money for your district. So again, they're not being nosy when they ask for that. They're just being thorough. Preliminary site study, that means they're going to take a look at your buildings and your parking lots and make sure that solar can fit on your campus in a size that's suitable for your electricity usage needs. Now let's assume that you've gotten those materials, and now you have the PPA proposal. Maybe you've got some proposals from a couple of different firms. How should you look at those proposals? You need to know how to estimate your savings. In order to do that, you should take your estimated future bills without solar minus the combination of your estimated PPA bills and your estimated remaining grid bills or your remaining SCE bills once you have solar. So as we take a look back at that previous slide, here we can see that we would be comparing this sample bill on the left side with the sample bill on the right, but instead of 0 for the consumption charges, it's going to be whatever you would have paid under the PPA. We recommend doing this on an annualized basis rather than a month by month. So, our session conclusions are most of the solar activity in California is in PG&E territory, largely due to the rate structures. 2, why don't more SCE schools have solar? It's because current SCE tariffs are unsuitable for solar. They have too much of a demand charge component. 3, what is changing to make solar cost-effective for SCE schools? The new solar-friendly Option R tariffs that are coming online in October of '09 should allow for significant savings to be generated by solar under a PPA agreement with no upfront cost. And lastly, how can school district leaders find out if solar can generate savings for their schools? You need to understand your financing options and the impact of solar. Thank you very much. I'll pass it back over to Reed answering questions.